Well, let me tell you, there's something that's been happening, and I'm gonna get started. It's been happening, and it's been happening, and it's continuing to happen. And we call this, man, I don't know what we're gonna call it, but you need to hang on, hold on, because there's something that's happening now that I have not seen in my lifetime, and I'm 49 years old. And what's so special about it is inclusion, right? And the hope that something different can happen. So this is why what kind of, man, we started out as pretty much a CBD company. And the way that I'm seeing us evolve, we started out with a mission that said we were, our focus was to be the catalyst to end the negative stigma that's caused communities around the world to suffer and lose out on the health and wealth benefits of the cannabis plant. However, looking at the areas of health, wealth, legacy, and freedom really was a catalyst also as well to catapult us into an area where still I see a lot over the 3 years. We've had a lot of different formulators to come to the table. We had a lot of different entrepreneurs to come to the table. And the mission now has kind of shifted in the space that when you look at health and wellness, when you look at the mindset of a person, when you look at where are people in their lives right now, and where do they desire to be? Well, Wakanda has been that catalyst through these four African American women to kind of catapult us and move us in a space where we can help a whole lot of people. And I'm being who I am. Always been, let me say, in the ministry, in the fraternities, and some of the affiliations that I've had. I've always been one that felt that God had always sent help. And if he was to use me as a catalyst for that help, definitely I wanted to be used, especially from my story, my original story. But I've seen so much happen with Wakanda. I've seen the transition of where we have come from 106 in Halstead and predominantly a company that was just trying to get in the legal space of cannabis to evolve into be now in a space in Bronzeville, we say moving to the east side and now being able to help so many people in so many different areas, especially in health and wellness. And especially in some people are compromised better finances and they haven't been put in a position to be able to even use the words like legacy or inheritance or provisional care, right? So Wakanda has pulled off that space that I'm so proud of. So when you look at, let me share a little about myself. I'm Minister Willie Mooney, and maybe a lot of you don't know me. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So maybe a lot of you who don't know me are kind of wondering, well, who is this guy? Well, let me tell you, when I started with Wakanda, I'm not gonna say I was just an Uber driver, but that's what I was doing. And I met this beautiful woman who is still in my life right now because as you see, during that time that we were with Wakanda, when we started with Wakanda, we weren't married. But Wakanda afforded me a lifestyle and a space to dream bigger and to accomplish some things that I always felt in my heart would happen, but I just didn't know how. So this catalyst of Wakanda allowed me to reach just a level of income from Uber to the level of income that I have now, complementing that income. And man, when I tell you I was able to surprise my beautiful now wife with a diamond ring that said, boom, man, let me tell you, I have been told you did good. That language in most women when they look at, my wife's ring. So I really felt like the king of my jungle. There's a table that we were invited to that I took advantage of. And I want to share with you what that table looked like to me, right? And let me see if I can find it. Maybe this is it. Let me hold on to make sure. Nope, that's not it. Here it is right here. So take a listen. Oops, that's not it. Here we go. My name is Minister Willie Edward Mooney Jr. I'm born and raised in Chicago. Life for me has not been simple. I've always been faced with challenges. At 18 years old, I was diagnosed with leukemia.
I remember being under chemotherapy and radiation. It's something that I wouldn't wish that anybody would, my worst enemy, I wouldn't wish that they would go through that. That was a condition in which I had no choice. Even though my mom and dad sat by my bedside, they couldn't help me. What it did was present me at a time in which I probably needed to seek God anyway. Looking at everything that I had accomplished, from being on top of my senior class, as far as just accomplishments, getting to scholarships, basketball scholarships, none of it could help me at that moment, which all I could do was rely on God. And then I had my crossroads. When I experienced that life might not be open to me anymore on earth. So I prayed to God and I asked him that if you give me more time, because that's one thing that anybody in my position would have desired. If you give me more time, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I'll go wherever you tell me to go, and I'll say whatever you tell me to say. The impact that Wakanda has been on me has been major. And let me start out with saying that I wasn't looking for Wakanda. I'm gonna tell you how I found Wakanda. I found Wakanda because there was an announcement on the radio and the airwaves that said that Illinois was legalizing in cannabis. I remember sitting in the presentation, the CEO came out, it was only 5 of us in the room. And she did that whole presentation as if it was 100 people in that room with only 5. What she presented first was education and a vision. And what it showed me was that 800,000 expungements was not enough that were being allocated here in Illinois. That we had the opportunity not only to just get the 40 acres, but also get the mule. When I look at what Wakanda has created, Wakanda has put together that train that everybody can get in and go on the same ride together. We ain't even looking at it like a march. Let's just look at it like a great train ride, right? And then all of us are together riding on it while everybody is winning. While we're driving this train, the conductor, the founders are driving this train straight into and through neighborhoods and through communities and through places in the world that you have the ability to get on board and join us, but nothing is gonna stop this fast moving train. And everybody being educated and supported while they're on it.
Now, you all, I really do see that when you look at everything that I said, and you look at the catalyst that I was invited and that had led me to the position to be able to say what I said, it brings me to a point of where we are now when we look at the evolution of Wakanda, and we look at the number of people that we know that, and this is why I say a movement versus just a company, the number of people that we know that we've been able to influence others to help more people, right? Or to share something with them, as such, the Great Commission, right? To share something with them that they can actually benefit from, to pull them out of a state of where they are now into a new place. This has been Wakanda. Most areas that people are compromised by are either their health or their wealth, right? Mental, when you look at what happens with a person in their current state of mind, and they're not able to cope with life or cope with some of the things that we've been through from the past couple of years, then there needs to be help. And I believe, like I said from the beginning, that God sends help. So when you look at how we started and you look at where we are, I really want to highlight this picture because this is very important, especially in the world today, because a lot of times we depend on our medical professionals, right, to tell us the truth and then diagnose or tell us what's going on. And a lot of times they haven't been in a position to be able to say that or share that, regardless whether it's education, regardless of It's certain disclosures and claims that they must sign and things that they can't say. But one thing that I noticed that here in Wakanda is that we educate, and we're being educated by our medical advisory board. We're being educated by pioneers like naturopath Dr. Eric Prince, right? The naturopath, and so many others who have joined our fold that says enough is enough, because there's been a history of some of the things that have been going on in a whole lot of industries, and we have, and a lot of people just don't know. So we decided to take up that mantle and educate and teach, so you know exactly where things come from and exactly where they're going. So some things you're going to see me highlight because I want it to make sense for you. So when you look at this picture right here, yes, it looks like what? Something that would be in your medical cabinet, in your bathroom cabinets. Let me say it like that, that you would use to help you, right, get a resolve, get some help, right? So you see the words cannabis indica, cannabis sativa, and you see Merrill companies, company like Merrill, McKinsey and Robbins, Merrill Company, Eli Lilly, and you see these are old school companies. And I'm sharing this so not just it be a subliminal message to you, but that it hits that there had been an important use of the plant, right? If the government made it important enough to put a patent on it as antioxidants and neuroprotectants, and let me tell you ahead of time, I'm not just talking about marijuana. I'm not just talking about Mary Jane. No, I'm not just talking about the negative stigma that's been put on the plant: weed, dro, loud, reefer. I could go ganja. I could go with so many different names in which we have used for the plant, but there's an important name I need for you to write down, and it's called cannabinoid. The plant has different cannabinoids, which is plural, and this plural word, the government put a patent on it, is antioxidants and neuroprotectants. But we're going to talk about cannabinoids. We're going to talk about, and I'm going to highlight to you the benefits of cannabinoids and cannabis. So when you look at, and this is history, so you just know Minister Mooney isn't just pulling this from his thoughts or his perspective. No, this is fact. So when you look at early traces of the plant, would you believe that ancient cultures used the plant for botanical benefits and not to get a high? Would you believe that cannabis here in America, that early colonists were required to grow cannabis, right? The whole plant in Virginia, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. Why would that make sense? Does it make sense to just grow something to get a high? No, it doesn't, right? However, political and racial factors always, a lot of times, play a part. No, most of the times, all the times, in whatever type of industry that you're looking at, right? That goes from Uber, that goes from Amazon, that even goes for this computer technology industry. There's regulation and there is manipulation, and as well as there is monopoly. I'll just leave it at that. And sometimes those things can actually, because of how competitive they can be, right? How competitive, how sometimes even how this leverage game is so strong when it comes to business. It can be so such those things that it stops us from getting the truth. And then we see things that we're introduced to that may not just do us good, but maybe doing others good. So when you look at the bottom of these screens, these are people who have been compromised by certain things. And I'm going to share it in the next screen of why they've been compromised. So you're looking at two industries here, and you're seeing one, you see a right way, and you probably see a left side, right? A right side and a left side. Let me call it that. And somehow we've never seen the right side for the full benefit of what it is. But the left side is dominant, right? But let me tell you about the left side. This is not me saying this. This is Francis L. Young, who says nearly all medicines have toxic, potentially lethal effect. But comparing the left side to the right side, but marijuana, and we're diving into that cannabinoid because it's the one that's most talked about. Francis L. Young says, but marijuana is not such a substance. There is no record in extensive medical literature describing proven, documented cannabis-induced fatalities. So I showed you fatalities at the bottom of this one. But this judge says that there's no documented proven induced fatalities coming from the plant, coming from marijuana, right? So maybe that's not good enough for you to actually believe. Well, don't take it from me. Don't take it from Mr. Francis. Let's hear from some doctors who may say the same thing. Check this out.
Hello, my name is Dr. David Allen. I'm a retired cardiac surgeon and a member of the International Cannabinoid Research Society, ICRS. That means I'm a cannabinoid research scientist. And I'm here to tell you about the discovery of the endocannabinoid system, the ECS, and the significance and how it will change medicine. And we discovered the endocannabinoid system about 30 years ago, and we really didn't understand the significance of its discovery. And so we found out that this is a chemical communication that your body has. It's not electrical, it's chemical, and it's kind of like the hormone systems that people are familiar with. And your body makes these cannabinoids. They're endogenous, so they're endocannabinoids, and they perform some miraculous functions in the body. And we're just learning the significance of these functions. And basically, the endocannabinoid system is responsible for homeostasis. Most people don't understand what that really means, but it's the body's ability to maintain itself and function in the proper environment. And so it's critically important that that doctors in the future understand this control mechanism. And we're finding out that that manipulation of this endocannabinoid system will control diabetes. It controls cancer. It controls whether you can survive a heart attack or stroke. And so this is critically important for doctors to understand this new science. And the discovery of the endocannabinoid system is the single most important medical scientific discovery ever, and will save more lives than the discovery and application of sterile surgical technique. And I'm a heart surgeon saying that. So more people will be saved by manipulation of the endocannabinoid system than are currently saved by surgery.
Okay, so I want to stop it right there for a minute. He said, because I want to, before I shift into the next part, he said more people will be saved by the manipulation of the endocannabinoid system versus sterile surgical technique. And he says, I'm a heart surgeon saying that. So I want you to grasp a hold to what is he really talking about, right? I want you to grasp a hold to that, and then I'm going to take you into this next part that I want you to read, but I want you to hold on to that part right there. So check this out.
So in the 1930s, they made tinctures. What were they making the tinctures for, and why were they doing these tinctures?
Well, I mean, the medicinal uses of hemp are just numerous. The hemp helps, well, we can talk about the cancer effects of hemp, but it helps with inflammation. It's very anti-inflammatory. It helps with seizures. It's very effective with PTSD for the vets that are coming back that have post-traumatic traumatic stress disorder. Mm-hmm. Very effective at treating that. It's an anti-inflammatory, but then the uses of hemp for cancer, what I've studied, because of my book, Cancer Step Outside the Box, and the number of cancers, there's about a dozen different cancers that have been studied in depth with medicinal marijuana, with hemp. And so the studies, from brain cancer to prostate cancer to pancreatic cancer, uterine cancer, cervical cancer, prostate cancer, it's amazing.
Okay, so what is in hemp that it's this THC, correct?
Well, there's chemicals that are called cannabinoids.
Right.
THC is short for delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol.
I'm glad you said it because I couldn't.
That's the only time I'll get it right. I'm glad I got it right. So that's the one, THC is the one cannabinoid that everyone's familiar with. That's the one that's psychoactive, and that's the one that gets you high if you smoke it.
Okay. But
there's other cannabinoids. One is called CBD, cannabidiol, and it's very medicinally used. There's no psychoactive component of CBD.
So what do? Extract these to make tinctures?
Yeah,
or you can make tea out of?
You can make tea. You can eat it. It's a great superfood. You're into raw. A lot of people use raw hemp in their superfoods.
Well, do you get high off of hemp if you eat it as a superfood?
No, well,
or just the seeds.
You've got to heat the THC to make it become psychoactive. So people that eat the plant, they put in a smoothie. You know, there's super green smoothies.
Right.
You're not going to get high off of that because you didn't superheat it.
But is it then, if you put it in the smoothie like that, is it good prevention to cancer?
It is. It's very well. It's got a perfect ratio of omega-3 to 6 fatty acids. It's got more GLA, gamma-linolenic acid, than any other plant. So it's got some really great fats. You're well aware of the importance of good fats in your diet.
Yeah.
So hemp has it's a perfect superfood to eat, but it's also medicinal.
I just never understood why hemp had gotten such a bad rap, and now I understand that it was really politically motivated by somebody who owned basically trees and didn't want to be in competition with the hemp to make paper. And yet, throughout the years after that, so many people suffered because of that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's actually a good thing that people are coming around a little bit.
It is. I'm really encouraged about the different legislation in different states that are trying to legalize medicinal hemp because of the fact that it is so good. It's not just a superfood. It's not just great for industrial uses, as we've mentioned, but it's a really good medicine.
Thank you so much for coming on, Ty. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Carol.
Okay, so I love what he just said, and let me sum it up. So he said the endocannabinoid system, endocannabinoids, right? He used the word cure. He used the word cure. He used the word benefits. He used the word hemp. He used the word superfood. And he also used the word CBD, as well as being one of the cannabinoids outside of many. You know, there's over 100 different cannabinoids. And he also used the word good fats, but he summed it up and said it not only is a great superfood, and I want you to write down that word, superfood, but it also makes a good medicine, right? So this is a person, Ty Bollinger, who wrote the book, Cancer Steps Outside of the Box. And you heard him mention the different cannabis, and he also mentioned one word that I did not say, but he mentioned was case studies. Right? Millions of clinical case studies in clinical cases. Maybe not here in America, but there have been millions. So when you look at the negative stigma, there's some things that we have to learn and there are some things that we have to unlearn. Let's talk about two major things. THC. THC was the plant that we're commonly familiar with, or the part of the plant that we're commonly familiar with that has a high level of dopamine. But and that's the one that we're familiar with that gets us a high. Right? But there's also another cannabinoid and other cannabinoids that are non-intoxicating. They stimulate the brain because they do something different, but they deal with perception, anxiety, nausea, which is why this industry has went boom. And because of all the benefits of the Michael Jordan of the plant in comparison to all the other cannabinoids, right? This is why you see a mainstream CBD market, because you actually see that there are benefits and there's something that we're missing. But let me tell you, the endocannabinoid system, remember I said, write that down, homeostasis, balance, is pretty much this internal, most regulatory system in the whole entire body, is what Dr. David Allen said. It's very important, and it's not something that we should ignore. You mean to tell me that when I say that I believe my God sends help, and he sent us plants, that thy plants shall be thy medicine and thy food shall be thy meat, that he always sends help, and he gave us something here in the case of the endocannabinoid system being compromised and out of homeostasis or out of balance. Doesn't that make sense that he would give us a plant to eat or to tincture or to smoke? Right? Let me just say, right, at the plant, probably early times, that was probably the most botanical use to get it in your system. And it is the quickest way to get it in your system, but also a gummy or edible to go through your bowel, your stomach and your bowel, right? So when you look at these receptors, and if the endocannabinoids of anandamide and 2-AG, which are natural cannabinoids, needed help because they were compromised to what? Minister Mooney, compromised to things that normally attack us. And I'm not putting this screen up to say that this is our government. No, I'm saying some of us are compromised. I'm a cancer survivor, compromised by cancer, compromised by free radicals, compromised by the things that we put in our body that we shouldn't. But it makes sense that this slide right here, it makes sense that there had been talk about making this plant legal. Let me just leave it at that to make it simple. It had been talk in 2014, but doesn't it make sense that in 2018, December of 2018, that the industrial use of the plant and all the different uses of the plant, especially the cases, studies of the plant, would be supported to make sure that that plant moved into mainstream? Yes, it does make sense, especially when you see the plant popping up in Walgreens and CVS. And then when you hear now the call word or the clarion call that comes from someone else's magazine like Rolling Stones that says that CBD is the unexpected star legalized pot, why does that not make sense? It does make sense. And it makes sense to those who are paying attention to demand and supply. Remember, I tell you, and I mentioned earlier, words like leverage, words like power, words like monopoly. Well, there's something that's happening, and I'm speaking to the business people that maybe you're not paying attention, and then to those who are looking for help that maybe you have not been listening. Because skincare, jobs, sex, dining, whatever place that you're compromised in your life, right, is a place where you can come and get some of the things that you have been looking for when you haven't been able to get the answers to what the problem is. And millennials who are not too slow, we may think they're kind of not paying attention, but they're the major consumers of the cannabis plant. And it's not, obviously, it's probably because of anxiety and stress in the times that we're in. So we're seeing the industry pretty much go boom. And then you remember I mentioned early checks and balances. It just makes sense that I don't believe it's safe to shop through the unregulated market, the liquor stores, the convenience stores, the gas stations, the service stations, where you don't know what you're getting. But have you asked yourself, have anybody ever asked themselves the question why you can go to a certain place and get something that's in a regulated place, but they're selling it unregulated in their place? Is there a demand? That's something we need to pay attention to, because yes, for CBD there is, but it's important that the right credentials be there, being industrial hemp registered, farm bill compliant, agricultural department compliant, certificate of analysis, which says that this is what's in the plant and this is what's not in the plant. And in order to get that certificate of analysis, doing a full panel testing and then a third panel testing. Now, why is it that Minister Mooney, you know all of this? One, you're going to hear Dr. Ross, who's phenomenal. She's going to speak on how I got to know all of this. But then she's going to speak on the credentials that we made sure, well, she's not going to speak on, I am, that we made sure that all of our products, just based off of what I just shared, and this is all of the products because I have even more to share, that they're tested, third-party tested, full panel tested, because we're confident and ensured to a fact that we want you protected and we want ourselves protected. We want you to get the best quality of everything that we share. Now, I've only talked to you for about right now, but I had you to write down certain words because I've talked about cannabis. But now I'm going to go into talking about wellness and immunity, right? And weight loss, right? But here, these are the industries that Wakanda has decided to move into because they're very, very important. These are the areas when it comes to our health, when it comes to our management, our homeostasis, our balance, that we're out of whack. So when you look at someone like myself, and that video probably didn't look like me, is because there's another portion of what we've decided. Really, I think what God just laid in our laps of how we have actually put ourselves in this space to understand how the body is out of balance and get a front side, a court side view, right? A cellular bioscan view of exactly what's happening in our body, so there's no denying it. This is through our microcellular bioscan technology. I compel you, it's very non-invasive, to the person who invited you, ask them, where can you go in Wakanda to get this done? Ask them, please. And then let's take it another level. Because we talked about, you heard the doctors, they talked about just the body being compromised and out of balance. But inflammation, mucus and parasites, they didn't mention mucus and parasites, but that is a problem, right? And cancers and stuff like that. Well, how did it get to that point? Well, maybe you can actually start looking at, do you know your blood type? See, there's things that I've been educated through Wakana, and it's taught me that maybe I need to consider something different, which is why you see remove belly fat, why the belly just did not go away. And I'm not talking about weight loss. I'm talking about what the doctors alluded to early, is that we're walking around hazardous, and we're probably with hazardous waste, like porta potties. And there's something that we can do with our system by learning our blood type. First, taking a look at what's going on the inside of your body, learning your blood type. And what does this all make sense? It makes sense to move holistically to the things that God put on this earth to get into our body, right? And being able to go to a place where we can see exactly what's going on. So I compel you to get with the person who invited you. And this may scare you. If you know your blood type and you never knew how to eat according to your blood type, you may see some stuff on this screen that's like, wait a minute, I know I'm a blood type O and I eat avocados. Well, let me just give you a hint so that you do your due diligence. Would you believe that an avocado can kill you because it's toxic to you if you're blood type O? And if you're highly consuming it, it can develop mucus, fat, and inflammation. And we're not just talking about cholesterol. So take that one. And let me share this with you. Wakana is the source. Wakana is the place, because remember I said we want to let you know that we are a catalyst. We are the Amazon. We are the BET of this industry. Let me tell you, I like the word Amazon, because there's a place, I could even call us, we're the Walgreens of this industry. Walk right into the person, to your website, the person website who invited you, and then share with them you need help, or you know someone who does need help. So I'm going to stop it right there. We don't make any medical claims. Oh, well, I want to share this one. Well, we have a lot of different brands right now, but I want to particularly, when it comes to cannabis, talk about this one, because we know that because of the negative stigma, there are people who may say, well, Minister Mooney, I just don't want it in my body, right? Because I don't want to test high. I don't want to test THC. I can't have it on my job. I'm a truck driver, whatever the case. I work for the military. I'm on the base. Well, we have a resolve for that. And the resolve is that under the 2018 Farm Bill, well, not only did it make 0.3% of THC legal, right? And some people can't have that, really less than 0.3% of THC. So we're not selling to get you high. We're not promoting that. But we know there's a portion of people, right, that want to still operate within that Farm Bill, that need everything that I just talked about. And that is our pure line. So when you see the word pure, that's our pure line. And what that means is the THC has been removed, right? And let me tell you, everything that I showed you as far as the industries, as far as whatever, if it's a bedroom situation, brothers, if you are out there and it has been compromised, sisters too, maybe you haven't been motivated, maybe low libido, maybe, if you're suffering from lupus, or been dealing with lupus, you're suffering from dryness or some of those things that are just part of life that we've been compromised in. Well, we can make it hot and sexy for you here at Wakana by giving you something. Don't go run into, fellas, don't go run into the liquor store, convenience store, gas station, looking for the blue pill, the red pill, the yellow pill, the gold pill. I see so many pills behind the counter. I'm like, no, we got one thing that can help you and make it a hot situation back into your love life, back into your marriage life of intimacy. Let me throw that out there so that you be safe and your family be safe. And like I said, I wanted to say we don't make any claims to treat, cure, mitigate, diagnose any disease. Please take a picture of this snapshot. I want to make sure that it acknowledges you. If you are under the age of 18, deuces, no shopping for you. And if you're under the age of 21, even though a lot of our smokable hemp products are not on the website, you still couldn't have it anyway, right? You have to be 21 years of age or older. And concerning anybody who's dealing with a medical condition, if you're pregnant or nursing, you're under prescription, please consult with your doctor. My last statement is you should be doing that anyway. If you're running the GNC, if you run into the vitamin store and all these different places that you may decide, and I hope you don't, choose to go to with no one guiding you and sharing and educating you on why you should be taking what it is that you're taking. But I hope I did my due diligence. Not my due diligence, but I hope I did a great job. But there's someone that I would love to introduce. And I've always been impressed with her name is we call her Dr. Roz. I've been impressed with her presence. You know, she always come to the atmosphere with a positive attitude and a smile. And I know me personally, I tried to elevate to that space. So there's something that she's been through, and there's some things that she's been able to accomplish that obviously I'm telling you, you want to hear. She's an excellent woman of God, right? She studied divinity. She studied theology. She's actually been very influential in a state of Texas to be our first ruby. You're going to find out what that is. Our first emerald. And all that just adds up to money, y'all. And we have a problem with talk about money in our community, but she doesn't. So I'm going to bring her up. You all give her a round of applause. Dr. Roz, are you somewhere out there?
Yes, I'm here.
Look at you. I love the shirt. And there she is, you all, with the smile. I told y'all. So you all give her a round of applause. Dr. Roz, over to you.
Thank you, Minister Mooney. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your role in Wakanda. That's so instrumental. And thank you for accepting that role, accepting that place that God has you. I'm telling you, I know that if you're here for the very first time, let me personally say welcome. So glad to have you. And I want you to do this. I want you to already give a high five, even if it's virtual. Throw them a kiss if it's virtual. Thank them for inviting you here, because this is a very, very special place that you've been invited to. You've already heard a lot of powerful information, and hopefully it has elevated your thinking and your mindset already to entertain what you're looking at. But I'm going to take it to the next place, because I believe, and Minister Mooney said it best, we have a difficult time talking about money, especially in the body of Christ. I've been in ministry since 1980 and been a co-pastor of a church for a season of my life. Been president of a record company, been all around the church world. And the two areas that we least talk about are money and sex. And those are the greatest areas where we have the most problems. I'm just saying. So let's talk about how we can not only be blessed, which is what people want, but you can be a blessing. Because here's the thing, you can't be a blessing without any money. I mean, you can be a blessing to folk all day long and pray for them. But the bottom line is people need help. They need help from their ailments. They need help from everything that they're going through mentally, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. So here's what I want to share with you. Every time we do a presentation, there are three kinds of people that attend. Somebody invited you here if you're here for the very first time. If you're here for multiple times, then somebody did invite you eventually. And you're either here because you want to support them. Guess what? They've got a website. Matter of fact, a beautiful website. It's over the top like Amazon. And you can go there and shop, and all the things that Minister Mooney has talked about, all of our hair products, all of our proprietary formulas, our pain creams, our essential oils, all of our products for cooking, everything for our flat-belly lifestyle is right there on that website. Go there, shop till you drop. We love, love, love our customers. We are a customer-based company, and customers mean everything to us. So we thank you ahead of time for your support. And let's take it to another level. You might be that second person, yet you may have a database. You may have family and friends that now that you've been exposed to this, you'd like to do what? Expose it to them. So let's have a party. I've got parties going on this weekend. Many of you have parties going on over the weekend. Scan parties, we've got, now we're starting to come together a little bit more. So you might be having one at your house or a community center, but I'm just saying, if you decide you want to have a party, your person that invited you, your sponsors, what we call them, will do the heavy lifting. They'll do the presentation, they'll do all that, and you be the host, and you give your own testimony, but guess what you get? Free product. Or you might be that third person. Well, now this is who my husband and I were. We were person number 3. And I'm gonna tell you why. We went to Chicago when the company launched. We sat in a room. It was the day the company was launching, 4/20/2019. And I looked around the room, and I'm from Texas, and there were only a few of us there from Texas and even less from Houston. So I said, that's a clue. And I don't care what city or state you're in, you've got to be able to recognize clues. Because oftentimes, many of us, if we've lived any length of time, we've seen things explode. Things have an impact, like Facebook. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought Microsoft? Who would have thought that you'd have things on your computer that you didn't ask for because they are just there? Who would have thought that people would be getting lines to get another Apple this or another Apple that? Who would have thought? What was a Google? The Bitcoin. I mean, Netflix, come on. How much have you been paying for cable and all these things, and now your cable bill has shrinked because of streaming? All of these things have made an impact in our lives, but the question is, were you at the table on any of them? Do you have any stake in Netflix or Uber? Uber, who would have thought we'd be sending our kids to ride with strangers? I mean, we weren't at the table, but this morning you're at the table. This morning you're sitting here, receiving, indulging in the newness of an industry, and it's just getting started. The CBD industry, the wellness that Wakana is undertaking, you are here. Congratulations. So here's what you got to do. Put yourself in a position to have an additional stream of income. Why is that important? One, because it's empowering. Two, because it provides you a sense of security. Three, because you can do some more things and travel places that you couldn't do just on your job with your paycheck. Because now you don't have to tap into it because you have what? An additional stream of income. Four, because now you can give more. I pride myself as a giver. I pay my tithes. Oh yeah, I believe the church and the pastor is real excited every time that increases because of having an additional stream of income. And not only that, I'm not just trying to leave a legacy, I'm trying to be a legacy. But I want to leave an inheritance, like scripture says, to my children's children. And lastly, but definitely not least, tax deductions. I'm not trying to give Uncle Sam all my money. So the only way you can do that, and hear me when I say that, the only way you can do that is to have an additional stream of income. And the easiest way to do that is to have a home-based business. Something you can do from the comfort of your home, although you will leave out, of course, and go see people and that kind of things, but you can do things right there from your home. We've learned how to do that during this pandemic, haven't we? So let's talk about how we get paid. Yes, we get paid at Wakana. Let me be the first to say, I have been exposed to multiple network marketing companies, multiple MLMs, multiple direct sales, multiple corporate, all of these multiple different, whatever label you want to put on them, I've been exposed to. You name it, somebody told me about it. Somebody might even sign me up in it, but I told them I wasn't going to, tasters. I wasn't going to put no garments on nobody. So some of you already know what I'm talking about. But at Wakana, we have 7 ways to earn income. Now, this is up to you completely. We don't put any stigmas on you where you have to do this, this, or this. It's up to you. 7 packages under the tree. How many do you want? For me, if I got 7 gifts, give me all 7. We've got an online dispensary. We got retail sales, a wealth pool. We got broker earnings and overrides. We've got a car allowance and free trips, and we've got a founder's revenue pool. Let's touch on them because I teach all this, and we learn all this in our Wakana University, and then I do a deep dive training on some Saturdays, which I will be doing this Saturday. But here's one of the ways that you can earn money. How cool is it to be able to have your own website? And you earn from 20 to 50% every time somebody shops there. And you don't have to have the inventory in your hand if you don't want to. Now, you're going to have some product because some people are going to buy directly from you, but it's not necessary because you can just send them to your website. Send them to your website and bam, cha-ching, 20 to 50% is yours from the commissionable value. And they're going to get free shipping. And I know the screen says $75 order, but guess what? That's been reduced. Ever since the pandemic, our CEO reduced that to $50. So right now it's still $50. Anytime they spend $50 or more, anytime you spend $50 or more, and you're going to get affordable, natural, and organic products. Awesome. And then we're going to take it to the next level. Let's say you talk to somebody and they keep shopping from you, and all of a sudden they say, well, can I do this too? See, that's called networking. And all of us do it, because if I come to your city or your state or your town and I get off a plane and come to see you and I say, okay, hey, we ready to go get something to eat, where can we go? You're going to refer me to a restaurant. They're going to get paid. But what about you? You referred me. Well, that's what we have in place at Wakana. It's called an override. And you can have retail overrides. When somebody else has a website and they share it with somebody who shares it with somebody who shares it with somebody, that goes 7 levels down. You get paid anywhere from 15 to 1%. And down there on that 1%, there will be thousands of people that you don't even know their name, but you're going to cash the check. So that override, every time they go to their website, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Do you hear it? Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's what's happening in Amazon when people go to the site. But the only difference is you're not sharing with somebody who's sharing it with somebody and benefiting from them. You're only benefiting from yours. Here you benefit from all of those. And then when a person decides they want to go into business with us, business with you, guess what? You benefit, and I call it fast start money, because that's what it means to build a network. And see, it's really not a hard thing to do, to build a network, because it begins to be a snowball effect. That's why Robert Kiyosaki said, the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everybody else looks for work. There are a lot of people out there looking for work. And if they understood the power of networks, they would be looking and building a network. So you can benefit from $400 all the way down to $20, from $200 all the way down to $10, from $35 all the way down to $5. That's determined by which package you decide to join with us. We'll talk about those packages in just a minute. But now here's one of my favorite parts of our compensation plan. It's called a pool. We call it the crown jewel pool. See, I love the fact that our co-founders thought enough to be gracious enough and generous enough to set aside 4% every single month. 4%, not of the profits, of the revenue, the gross revenue. Off the top, before the bills are paid, before the expenses are made, before anything, it's set aside. And those that choose to work their business and reach certain rankings, you heard Minister Mooney talking about that, this starts at Sapphire. That means 10,000 points. Now, the beauty of this is that you can't do it by yourself. You do it with teamwork. And here, there's a cliche, teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, it's a cliche, but it's true here. Because you can't reach any of these levels without the help of other people. So guess what? If you decide you want to work your business, did you hear me say work your business? Because I've been in companies, I didn't work them. I didn't decide to. But I chose to work it here because here at Wakana, I've gotten paid. I'm getting paid and continue to get paid. So from Sapphire all the way to Diamond, there's a certain number of points. And we teach you how to do this. We teach you how to earn these points. But that 4% is shared in that pool, a certain number of shares, depending on what rank you are. And guess what? That value changes because it's determined by the revenue of the company, which by far has continued to go up, 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 up. You saw 8 million. Oh, come on, we're all the way to 10 million. We're on our way there. We're going to be a $1 billion company. So all of these are shared in that revenue pool, but it doesn't stop there because there's another pool, 2%. It's for the diamonds. They get to double dip, yes. Minister Mooney, he's a diamond. I'm an emerald. We're on our way to diamond. Absolutely, positively. All of us, everybody here, even if you just joined, you're on your way to diamond. I'm just telling you, because now it's in your mind, and now your mind has been expanded, and it'll never go back to the size it once was. So guess what? There's a 2% pool set aside for the diamonds, 1 star all the way to 5 star, and they share in that 2% pool. And then we've got car allowance. When you hit that 1 star diamond, man, look there. You get some extra help on your car note, or if your car is paid for, whatever the case is. And it continues to increase from 1 star to 5 star. And then we've got trips, trips, trips. Oh my goodness, we had a Jamaica trip not too long ago. We had a Vegas trip not too long ago, Chicago trips. And guess what? We're going to Vegas next year, and we're going to Dubai the year after that. I'm going to bypass the video for right now, but I just want you to know, do you want to go to Dubai? Okay. But look at this. It's time for you to get started because I feel you pulling on me. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. How do I get started? This by far is the best way to get started. You ever heard that saying, good, better, best? Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. This is the best way. Why? Because it has the greatest value. For $1,499, you get 3 of our 7-day cleanses, 1 of our 21-day raw cleanses. You get the pain cream, the Hempranium, which is our own formula. Nobody else has that. It's our own proprietary formula. You get the Hemp MD, which is our strongest CBD formula. You get gummy pack samples to give away to people. You get our broad spectrum and our power gummies, and you get our Wakanda University. Now, Minister Mooney said he's learned how to do stuff. He's learned how to talk about what we talk about. Same here. We're not medical doctors, but I can make you think I'm one, right? My doctorate's in theology and divinity. But when I talk, why? Because I've gone through the university to learn. So you get a voucher to attend the university, which normally would cost about $200, but it comes with this pack. And then you get a broker key. Why is that necessary? To benefit from all of those overrides when other people decide they want to join the business with you, when they want to partner with you. And then you're going to get the wellness coach class so that you can become a wellness coach. Oh my God, people, I'm getting so much joy out of coaching people and seeing them get results. I had some people just this week. They were doing the 7-day cleanse and they said, this is working. They were shocked. This is really working. I've lost 5 pounds already. Encouraging them and motivating them and just being there for them. That's what that wellness coach does. So you get to be a part of that. And if you decide you want to become a scan coach, you can also do that at some point later and make a separate purchase to get the scan equipment. But you're going to advance the Sapphire for 6 months. Or you can join us with the Wellness Dispensary. Now, here's not being a coach, but this is by far our better dispensary. Good, better, best, right? It's the better dispensary. So you get us 2 7-day cleanses. You get the pain cream, the Hempranium, all of these wonderful top-selling products. And you're going to attend the university. We're going to educate everybody and the broker activation key. So this really, really is a wonderful place to get ready to start if you can't do the $14.99. But this one here is so special because it positions you for something I'm going to talk about a little bit later called our founders package, which is coming up. It's coming up, guys. This is going to be the last time. It's coming up. So this will get you in position to be able to do that. Now, of course, $14.99 does too. But if there's no other reason that you at least get in on this level, that's why. And then if money's an issue, of course, we do have our starter pack. Our starter pack is $199, and you're going to get, it's a $500 value. You get one of those cleanses, you get the Hempranium, oh my goodness, the broad spectrum gummies, the power gummies, the Wakanda University, and a broker activation key. And optionally, you can even get that beautiful box just by paying an additional $24.95. See, the university is by far what makes us different from any other company, because we're not just trying to sell you a bottle of oil. We're not just trying to get you to get the flat belly lifestyle. No, we want you, when you go in business with us, we want you to be educated. We want you to know the power of knowing what you're talking about. So you'll learn all of these things from all of our leaders that will empower you and educate you and make you so crystal clear that you know what you're talking about. And if money's an issue, because money gets tight sometimes, by far, this is the way to get going. If money's an issue, our free 30-day test drive, where you can test drive the car. That means you get a website, but you don't get any product. You're not a coach. You're not a wellness coach. You just got a website that you can send people to. They can start purchasing things, and you can let your money make money for you. But this is my favorite slide, because as I told you before, I've done some other things prior to coming to Wakanda, and some of them, they talked money before I walked in the door. It's like, hold up, wait a minute. I don't even know who y'all are. Business startup fees, website. How many of you have ever been in a company that did not charge you month after month for the website? I haven't seen it. If you've seen it, this is the first time I ever saw it. Or no required auto ships. Listen, I had companies that Had so much money coming out on auto ships of products I wasn't even using. We don't have any required auto ships, no balancing of the legs, no quotas, no shipping costs over that $50, and no compensation plan that's designed just for the top 1% only. Because if that were the case, some of us wouldn't be here. But we do have customer support. And we do have distributor support as well. All over the country, we have distributors that will support you and be there for you. We got people that are scanning for people in other cities and other states. That's called support. It's real here at Wakana. I love it. We've got a shared revenue pool, a willable business, an unlimited income potential. You're the boss. It's your business. Do what you want to do. More time with your family and a balanced compensation plan. So in all that, here we go. This is how you get started. $14.99, $7.99, or $1.99. Let's get started. Let's not waste time. Are you 1, 2, or 3? Which one? That's what we got to know. The person that invited you wants to know. I want to know. Minister Mooney wants to know. Drop it in the chat. You're number 1. You came to support. You're going to get on the website and purchase. You're number 2. You want to host a party. Or you're number 3. You're joining forces with us. We will be better when you join with us. You make us better. So number 3 is that person that wants to be in business. Go ahead and drop it in the chat, because this is the time to not miss out. There's nothing more expensive than a missed opportunity. And timing is everything, because when the sun rises, which my husband and I drive to Galveston, we live 45 minutes from Galveston, we see the sun rise sometime. But if we get up too late, guess what? Yep, we miss it. Back to you, Minister Mooney.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I see the guard dog. What's going on? So amazing, amazing, amazing. I love how the information is there. It's rarely have I been in a place to be around a center of influence, a center of people who, like, I just know I'm in the right place to get information of a lot of different things, you know. So you hear, like Dr. Ra shared about your Amazons, your all these different things. And if you're a person like myself that if you're a person like myself that's saying, man, I didn't know about that, man, dang, I missed that. Or you reaching out to somebody and they don't know, or they won't tell you, then I would compel you to take a look at Wakana. We're not just one of anything, which is what I love. And I see the direction that we're moving in. And I can't say much right now. I want to. There's some information that I've been privy to know. And I'm dangling a carrot because
you just need to stop right there. Just keep on moving.
Right. Let me tell you, stay tuned, right? Stay tuned, because if you haven't seen it yet, stay tuned. But with that being said, I know we have some new people here. I want to hear from the new people. Does this make sense? Drop it in the chat, a yes or no. Does this just make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, then we need to do better. But if it does and I can accept it either way. But let us know if what we talked about, if it makes sense, yes or no. For those who are used to, being on Saturday morning, let me ask this. Have we shared something with you, if you have been here before? Drop in the chat, what is it that you heard today that was a great takeaway? How about that? Yeah, let's get a little engagement. If you heard something that was a great takeaway for you that you have been here before, what is it? Drop it in the chat. I know, and if you have, for those who are new, brand new, and even though, if you're not brand smacking new, this is your first time here, but I definitely want to hear from the people if this is your first time here. What questions do you have? What is it that you don't know that you would love to know? Just no question is a bad question. If you don't know, you don't know. But a closed mouth don't get fed. So if it's something that you want to know, drop it in the chat. Or feel free, I think you all can unmute. Let me see. Participants, more. Yep, you all can feel free to unmute as well. The further discussion surrounding Dr. Allen and Ty Burrows keeps getting clearer. Excellent. I love that. Thank you. I see about your number after this Zoom. Okay. Follow up with Miss Sabina or Sabina. All right. Oh, thank you, Lorenzia. I appreciate that. Yeah, but thank you, Mama Dorsey, for sharing that. Really quick, I have to be at work soon. Is it possible for me to watch this later? I did watch a video on YouTube that was sent by Gail as well. This is a message by Laurencia. This one, Dr. Roz can, well, let me say this. Miss Gail Laurencia.
I got it. He gave me his email. I'll send it to him. No problem.
Cool. Okay. Praise God. Cool. All right. Cool beans. So there it is. You can get a recording of this.